Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope all is well with you and yours. What's good, what's good, what's good? Good morning, Rick Ritchie. Still getting the crusties out of your eyes, huh? Welcome to the early morning crew. So there's a lot going on. Right now you're seeing the general stock market pull back. Why? Because overnight, actually just a little while ago, or not too long ago, the new regime had posted something on his social media platform saying that everybody should evacuate Tron. Saying things like, they should have taken the deal that they had. They need to do all kinds of things. And, from a global, economic perspective, you're kind of, forecasting what you're going to do or what you're willing to do. That's not necessarily a good thing when you're talking about, true conflict between countries. So that's not a great move. But it is going to affect everybody's bags. You're seeing oil have issues. You're seeing the stock market have issues. And we'll get into those numbers a little bit later, but I thought I'd let you know. Also, what are you also seeing? Well, you're seeing Bitcoin actually pull back. You're seeing cryptos actually pull back. I happened to glance up this morning and saw that Dog with Hat was down over 7%. And I told you guys before, when I look at meme coins, when I look at altcoins, when I look at Bitcoin, I'm looking to see who's dropping fast and who's rising fast, right? Everybody looks at meme coins as, oh, they're going to rise so fast, so quickly, and blah, 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 blah. Maybe. But I'm looking at other coins and saying, oh, this quality coin is dropping fast, and has traditionally come up fast. I want to buy quality. I'm stacking up on quality these days. And the reason why is because I can definitely see a shakeout coming in the near future. I can't put a time on it just yet, but I can definitely see that shakeout coming. Why? Because people are tired of meme coins. Speaking about meme coins, did you know that Pump.fun had their X account suspended? Their X account and that of many other meme projects, including even the head of Pump.fun. Or one of the founders of Pump.fun. So that's a big deal that their X accounts got whacked or suspended. And apparently they're in talks or whatever to see if they can rectify that. There's talk of several different complaints about those accounts that came across. And it seems like there might have been a barrage of complaints, which would definitely trigger a suspension, right? So it kind of makes sense. But it's kind of crazy that this is what's going on. This is one of the reasons why we have Grow My Bag, right? I might not like the business practices of Pump.fun, but they're not doing anything wrong. In my humble opinion, they're conducting business. So if they wanted to come over to Grow My Bag, I'm sure we could have a good discussion about that, and it'd be perfectly fine. But yeah, I think that, for certain industries, those industries don't seem to be leaving X, and they seem to be allowing X to kind of drag along. But there are a lot of reasons why I would not want to be involved in X. A lot of reasons why. So yeah, there's that. So that happened last night. Then you've got about 50%. There was a study done about the tariffs, and they said companies are saying, the report came back and said about 50% of the cost of tariffs is going to be passed along to the customer. 50%. That's a lot. That's big. And when you think about what tariffs are, why are you paying that extra money? Right? Again, like I said, I think that the idea of what tariffs can do, can't do, is interesting, but I think the whole situation could have been done a lot better. Tariffs across the board, I don't think was a great idea. I think a lot of people would agree with that. But tariffs were probably necessary for certain countries. I'm not going to deny that. But how you go about doing this, the chaos in which you're handling it. I won't say manage, because I'm not seeing actual management. I'm seeing that as an issue. So you're looking at companies that have to raise their prices just because of tariffs. And then, of course, what will happen is the new regime will come after some of those companies saying, why did you pass that along? Blah, 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 blah. You want them to remain viable. They probably do have to pass it along. I wouldn't be worried about those companies. I'd be worried about the companies that are gouging America. I'd be worried about those countries that are gouging the citizens of the United States, meaning they don't really have effect on anything else. Like, I'd be looking at food prices. I'd be looking at that. But then again, I'd be looking at those policies that are going to affect food prices, right? For those people that are looking for what could happen or what's going on in different industries with regard to jobless rates and things like that, you might want to take a look at WARN. I forgot what WARN actually stands for. WARN. Give me a moment. It's called the Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification, meaning this is what companies would put out there if they meet a certain threshold of people that they're going to be letting go from their payrolls. So if you ever want to verify something, go look up the WARN Act and go look up, for each state has one. Each state has a list of companies that are announcing, hey, we have layoffs that are coming. There are certain industries that will not actually do that because they're afraid of the message that it'll send to the street, and that's often within the banking industry. The banking industry 9 times out of 10 will not say anything beforehand, to a big action with regard to personnel. So it's something to pay attention to. I say this because I know that one of our members was noting last night that she had noticed that somebody had layoffs, but she got the date wrong and it was last year, not this year. So if you ever want to check, go check the WARN Act. Every state has their list, a publicly accessible list of businesses that are saying, yeah, we're going to be laying off some people. So that's something that you can easily pay attention to. And easily, because they're there for every state, but you have to know that it exists. So this is me letting you guys know that it exists. Then you've got Cantor Fitzgerald predicting up to 75% gains for Solana-backed stocks, DFDV. Who names their business? I'm just saying. UPXI and HODL, HODL. That shouldn't have been allowed, but they did it anyway, citing Solana's efficiency and their staking rewards. And I'm sitting back and I'm looking at Cantor Fitzgerald and I'm laughing the hell out. Why? Because Solana's, efficiency? Are you serious? Oh, I'm just petting Stitch. He just woke up. But yeah, you're going to cite Solana's efficiency. I take their staking rewards because that's something else that they're saying. But efficiency? Yeah, no, I don't see that. Drop packets all the time. There's just a lot right there to unpack. And I'm looking at Cantor Fitzgerald and I'm kind of like, do you guys actually understand crypto? Did you guys actually look at, Solana? Granted, Solana hasn't had a lot of issues in the past few months, but they have had issues this year. So efficiency, I don't know about that. I wonder, I question things like that. So do they want to see, they're saying that they see 75% gains. And I'm kind of like, 1, I don't believe it. 2, I'm not really, from a stock perspective, I don't know that I'm interested in the stock if all they're doing is buying crypto. Feel me? If that's your whole business model, I don't know that I want to be in business with you. That makes no sense. I can do that myself. I do that myself. There's no reason for me to buy a stock and all you're doing is buying crypto. I can buy it myself. Unless the math works out and it says that I can gather more of this stock real fast, right? And let's just run with the 75% gain. Do I think I'm going to make 75% from where Solana is now to where it's going to be? Hence, you do the math on everything. Sometimes that'll work and sometimes it won't. I also didn't really notice a time frame on it, but just saying. So you take everything with a grain of salt. You do your own research. You understand your own entries and exits, and you absolutely invest deliberately. That's the GMB 3. That practice isn't really going to steer you wrong. It's always good to do your own research. It's always good to know your entries and exits, and it's always good to absolutely invest deliberately. Meaning, don't guess about your investments. It means understand more than just how much a stock or crypto or whatever it is costs, but also how you would buy it, how you would sell it. And speed matters. Sometimes you have to act quickly, right? So you have to understand, how am I going to buy something fast? How am I going to sell something fast? If time is not of the essence, then time is on your side. But a lot of times you need to dump something fast, or you need to buy something fast to take advantage of an opportunity, which is why I tell people all the time, pay attention to these things. Pretty please. Pretty please. Makes a difference. It's a big deal. Something else that's going on. Avalanche launched a free to mint NFT, and it's supposed to actually liven up their gaming ecosystem, enabling users to earn AVAX tokens and in-game NFTs across titles like Off the Grid and MapleStory N. Just saying, there are things out there that are going on that we could be paying attention to, where we can see things. Now I'm looking at Avalanche and I'm saying to myself, I told you guys before, the gaming market is going to wake up. When is it going to wake up is a different question, but the gaming space in crypto is starting to actually wake up and get interesting. Have you seen some of those games? Some of those games look fantastic. Some of those games look fantastic, and they're getting better. Just saying, there are things that we can do to pay attention, to actually have our finger on the pulse so that we can understand what's going on. This is one of them. A World Economic Forum report projected that the DePIN market will grow from 50 billion, I hope you're sitting down, to 3.5 trillion by 2028. Now, I don't know how they're calculating those numbers, but let's suppose, it's half that. It's still $1.75 trillion market from 50 billion. Wow. Now you understand why I do my own research, why I understand my entries and exits, and why I absolutely invest deliberately. Because there are opportunities to make money. They're literally telling you, this is them telling the world, hey, this is where we think things are going. Holy moly. Something to think about. Now, I have a question for everybody. If you're sitting on the board of directors, even just the board of advisors, but I think it's the board of investors, right? Board of directors. And you don't know what a company is going to do, but you're on the board. Either board. Should you be on the board? Right? The whole point of being on a board of advisors or board of directors is to help steer a company as it moves forward in business, right? To help them along the journey, right? Well, I told you that Tron is thinking about going IPO and being listed on Nasdaq. Eric Trump, who sits on a board for Tron, is saying, I have no idea about what Justin's doing. Huh? So either you sitting on the board means nothing, or you suck at your job. Which one is it? Or there's the third one. You're lying. I would hate to think that they were lying about it, which would tell me that, hey, maybe you're just not good at your job. Maybe you need to go somewhere. And this would be a huge cash out for Justin Sun. This is not a little thing. It is not a little thing. Because I think that Tron going IPO would be huge. It's a huge payday. It's a huge payday. So yeah, I'm looking at that and I'm kind of saying to myself, oh, that would be interesting. I don't know that I would want to get involved because I don't trust Justin Sun. But at that point, you've gone public. What does that mean? Justin Sun, you can depend on him for one thing. Absolutely depend on him for one thing. He's going to do whatever it takes to make money. But seriously, you don't know what's going on with the company, but you sit on its board? Do tell. Do tell. So you just get paid as being a part of the board because, they get stipends and things like that in most cases. And it gives you street cred to be sitting on a board of a crypto firm in that you're basically brand new to crypto. or supposed street cred, because you're sitting on the board for these guys. Do you really want that street cred? I don't think so. Not me. Not me. Yeah, and that Stitch over there is looking out the window, chilling. Now he's probably going to go upstairs, bother my daughter, who's trying to get ready for work. Cute as hell. So I just find it funny that he's not, I don't think he's doing his job. Then you have a public Chinese company, Meme Strategy, invested $377,000 to purchase 2,440 Solana tokens. Okay, there seems to be a lot of companies out there buying up Solana. I'm having issues with that. It's not my money. You do what you're going to do. I'm just wondering, what do they know that we don't know? I'm definitely not following into that trade, though. I'm not following into that trade. But I will say this. Had you gotten involved, you know what? You know what we should do? We should get into the numbers, because I'm going to start talking about numbers right now. So we probably should get into the numbers just as a thing, right? And we'll go there. All righty. So the stock market is looking like it's going to open down, or Dow futures is going to be down about 245, S&P futures down about 36, Nasdaq futures down about 141, oil up about $1.13. Not shocking there, right? Everything that's going on in the Middle East, you can actually see what's going on. I think there's going to be big hits across Iran. Big hits. And some of it could affect oil. Not could. Word isn't really could, but some of it could affect oil. Looking at everything today, today is the FOMC meeting. Does anybody expect anything to change? No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nobody's expecting anything. So remain steady. Keep the rates where they are. There's nothing pointing up. There's nothing pointing down. Keep steady. Look for more data to come in. Right? Maybe the next time, maybe, but everything would have to be smooth sailing from right now, and then smooth sailing to all the numbers that come in before the next FOMC meeting for the FOMC to actually move things. And we don't have that. We don't have a good track record to say, move things up, move things down. We don't have that. So that's an issue. Is call it the way I see it. So tomorrow, what I'm expecting is, apparently there'll be a dot plot. They'll be able to tell us this is what we're seeing, all that good stuff. But I don't think anything's going to move. It is what it is. Excuse me. Yesterday, the fear and greed index was at 61. Today is at 68. We're in greed, but just saying. Right now, we're basically unchanged from yesterday. We're at 121 billion in total value locked. Not much changing right there, right? Bitcoin is now at 105. You can see it dipping right there, right here, right? And why is that? Well, we're getting more talk about tariffs. Now, here's the deal. Apparently, there is a deal that was signed. I forgot who it was. Might have been the UK, whatever. But see what I mean? I didn't even mean that. Might have been the UK, whatever. Sad. Anyway, supposedly there's a deal, and that deal is, what? There's nothing hugely positive out of it. There's nothing hugely positive out of it. But supposedly, it'll sit there. So I'm expecting we'll get more details later on today. But it was announced yesterday. But yeah, we signed a deal, and then Trump came back to the United States. He left the G7 to come back to the United States. Okay. All right. You're right there in Canada. All right. Your communications apparatus should be fine. But he says, I communicate better, out of the Oval Office. And I'm kind of like, yeah, okay. Just saying. I think it should be in the Oval Office all the time, right? Stop going to Mar-a-Lago. Stop costing us $3 million every time you go to Mar-a-Lago. Stop having stupid parades. Just saying. There's also a lot of turmoil over the big BM of a bill. Because they're saying the salt tax, well, salt is going to drop from $40,000 to $10,000, which is what's being proposed now, which is what it was in 2017. let's see, there's that, there's Medicare, there's a little bit of Medicaid, there's Social Security in there. Why do they always want to go after Social Security? And we pay for that. We pay for that. Right? So if we pay for it, why are you touching it? I always want to gripe about Social Security. Now, I just don't get that. Mind you, the government has been using Social Security money as a little piggy bank for years, decades. There's a whole lot more that needs to be fixed. Also, there are senators that are concerned that you want to raise the debt limit another $5 trillion. No. Because that's basically saying we will never pay our debt. Never. Imagine $42 trillion in debt. We've got to start bringing that back. We've got to start bringing that down. And how are we doing that when we're kicking the people out of the country that actually do the work that keep us moving? And we don't have people lining up for those jobs. It's going to cause a problem. We have a lot of companies. So you say, oh, there are higher level jobs that are here. We're not training the people for those jobs. I know a guy who's in technology, just lost his job yesterday, and he's not up on AI. He's not up. He's been playing with automation a little bit, but he's not really up on AI, and he's a high-ranking executive. We're not training. We're allowing supposed U.S. companies to spend billions of dollars overseas to train others. I'm not seeing them make that same effort here. I see colleges stepping up, actually. You ever look at some of these colleges giving away free classes online? No, you don't get the degree, but you get the training. I think you get like a little completion thingy that says I completed this, and here maybe I've taken a couple of tests. Here are the grades I've gotten. But a lot of colleges are stepping up. But I'm not really seeing businesses step up. I'm not seeing a lot of, on-the-job training that's happening. Nuts, but very real. Some companies are, but a lot of companies are not. You used to be able to go get on-the-job training, right? Not seeing a lot of that. We haven't seen a lot of that in years, decades even. Yeah. Everything started with us getting rid of manufacturing. When we jettisoned manufacturing from the United States, we truly screwed up. That was a huge mistake, and it was all for profit. It wasn't for long-term goals. Just saying. You look at the big board and you're trying to say to yourself, well, wait a minute. There are a lot of sales that are going on. Last week, you could have gotten Sol in the 140 area. You could be going back down to that space. You might be able to catch it. Link is down a lot. It was just up at 15 plus. Ave is a good one that I would snatch up. Pepe is a good one that I would snatch up. FET, I don't know, but FET was making money. FET with regard to AI seems to be making a comeback, so we'll see how that goes. Shiba Inu at 12. I said it yesterday. I think that Shiba Inu is something I would definitely put my hands on. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but of course, Ethereum, BNB, BTC, BCH, Sui. Sui's under $3. Sui is under $3. Yeah, I'd be all about Sui. So yeah, I'm looking at these things and I'm just going, yeah, there are big opportunities here. Big opportunities that I'd be happy about. Then you're looking at things like Bitcoin right now at 105,898, Ethereum down. But I look at the distance between the two, and it's 3678, something around there, depending on where you're looking. Oh, okay. I'm all right with that. 3671, actually, if you really think about 70 now. But yeah, I'd be looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, BNB. If you're into it, you could look at Solana. Not touching Doge, although Doge has a tendency to move up. 20 cents seems to be like my thing, my number for Doge. So if you wanted to get in here, you could. Cardano's another one. But Cardano hasn't done anything explosive with regard to marketing that will make people get out there. From a tech side, if you're into technology, they speak a lot. They give a lot to the tech people out there. But I don't feel like they're giving enough to the public to get the public excited. And I think that's what needs to happen for Cardano to take off. Will it happen over time? Yes. But every time you turn around, it's another, well, if they do this, if they do this, if they do this, if they do this, it sounds like a broken freaking record. It sounds like a broken freaking record. Oh, well, when they show their decentralization, when they move to the new Congress, and when they do this and the new constitution, and blah, 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 freaking blah. And I love Cardano, but it's a pain in the butt to always have to sit here defending, Cardano's tech side, but they're not really doing anything to grow, and I'm waiting for that. It feels like I'm forever waiting for that. Cardano, guys, gals, do more. Do more on the marketing side. Get exciting projects on the platform. Hype up those exciting projects. And I don't mean just within the Cardano community. I mean outside the Cardano community, because we need them to buy in. That's what we need. And let me tell you, the tech behind Cardano, oof, chef's kiss. I just need more hype about it. And right on their heels is actually Hyperliquid. Just saying. Sui is another one I'd be interested in. Bitcoin Cash, Chainlink, Stellar, Avalanche. I mean, it's been a long time since Stellar's been ranked this high. Wow. So Avalanche, Toncoin, SHIB. You could, if you wanted to get into Litecoin. Hedera is another one that I like. Monero's definitely one that I like. I'm not feeling Polkadot anymore. I'm not feeling Polkadot. Why is that? I'm not feeling Polkadot because Polkadot is creating a Bitcoin treasury. Huh? This is what the guy from Solana was talking about yesterday, Anatoly. He was like, why would you do that? You're your own project. Stand on your own. Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm not. I asked it the other day. I'll ask it again. Polkadot, are you okay? Are you all right? Maybe there's a platform out there that could buy Polkadot. I don't know. I can see consolidation happening. I don't muck around with Athena. I don't muck around with BitGet. Oh, excuse me. Didn't sleep all that well or that long either. Pepe is one. Aave is one. If you're into Bittensor, I could see that, even though the year to date is not doing so well. Aptos is another one. It's been hammered, but Aptos is still one that I could be interested in. I don't like Internet Computer. Not even sure why let's take that off of there. Oof. I don't even know why it was like that. Near, I haven't touched in a long time. I don't even think I own any anymore. I think I got out to get into something else. I think I just broke even or just made a couple of bucks off of Near. Ondo is another one if you wanted to pay attention to it. I'm not. Just look at that number that is down year to date, 43. Oof, lordy. I'm just saying, right? But you could have good upside. There are opportunities. Polygon is, what used to be Matic is down 50 some odd percent. Was that 56%? These are big changes, right? These are really, really, really big changes. You have the official Trump coin over here in the top in the top 50. Why? Just why? Because they had a bogus freaking $2 billion. Yeah, whatever. I'm good off that. Wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Made my money off of it, and I'm done with it. It was never meant to be a long-term thing. Never. Just make your money, get out. Just saying. VeChain is another one I would look at. Render is another one. Filecoin, not a big fan. FET is one that I'd be looking at. Oh, excuse me. Cosmos is one that I actually kind of like, but I haven't touched Cosmos in a long time, and I haven't seen anything really wake up with them. Arbitrum is another one that's making moves, but look at how much it's down right now. 56.56%. Now, you could say that there's a lot of upside to that, which there is, and Arbitrum is solid, right? So you do have a lot of stuff going on with Arbitrum, but they need to make more noise. To me, they need to make more noise. But that's just me. Right? I can get rid of that one. I already looked at that. Let me see if I can come over here real quick, because I do want to see. Actually, I think I have to log in because my VPN changes IP addresses a lot. So it will absolutely make me log in. I'm hoping it'll do it quick, but it doesn't. I don't seem to be doing it quick. This is actually because of my computer. I have a lot of stuff running right now, and it doesn't look like it's going to move anytime soon, which bites, because I wanted to see what the ups and downs were, but it doesn't look like I'm going to get to it. Now watch, as soon as I turn it off, it'll pop on. But anyway, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. If you like what I'm doing, do me a favor, smash the likes, tell your friends about this community. It's the only one out there that truly cares about you stepping up your game in the investment space, and not just crypto, stocks, bonds, options, buying businesses, selling businesses. We need to step up our game so we can grow our bags. That's why we're the only one out there that's doing it like this. And it's fun. It's absolutely fun. And we've got more stuff coming. Anyway, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. Smash the likes, tell your friends about us. And absolutely, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, thank you for your trust. I'll see you tonight at Crypto Overflow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everybody, don't forget to invest in yourself today. Have a good one. Bye-bye.